Hey guys, happy National Stuttering Awareness Week. For this National Stuttering Awareness Week video, I'm just going to be answering a few questions to related to my stutter. So I have them here on my tablet. So the first question, when did you begin to stutter, and how has the way you stuttered changed over the years? Excuse me. I first started to stutter when I was 4 years old, and excuse me. And my mom said it happened pretty quickly. And she said it just came about like very fast. And the way my stutter has changed over the years. When I first started stuttering, it was very severe stuttering. And now I would say that it's pretty mild to moderate most of the time. As far as the way that I stuttered, when I was younger, I had a lot of blocks, and now I mostly have sometimes blocks, but I would say I mostly have more so repetitions. What do you believe caused you to stutter? I believe it was genetics, which also the next question is going to be, does anybody in your family stutter? My paternal grandfather did stutter, but his was very mild, and I actually didn't even know he stuttered for a very long time, because it is pretty mild, so most people wouldn't even notice. And I thought the whole time it was just because of with him being elderly, and people get jumbled up on their words all the time, even when they're not elderly. But I thought it was more of like an age thing, rather than a stutter. But I didn't find out he stuttered till I was like 20-something years old. Have you ever had therapy? What did the therapy consist of, and how effective do you think it was? I had therapy for several years. I started therapy when I was 4 years old, and I continued up until I was about 10 or 11. I did mostly private therapy. The whole time I did private therapy the whole time from 4 to 11. When I was in second grade, I was at a public school, and so they offered speech therapy at the public school while I was in second grade. I really liked my private therapy, and I just remember I remember reading a lot of things. We would read from a book, and I would work on practicing my speech when I was reading. Like whenever you see a period, take a pause, or when you see a comma, take a pause. But it was really good. My therapist was really nice. The therapy that I received in school, I don't think was very well concerning my stutter, mainly because when you do therapy at school and you're in a group, everybody just gets a short amount of time to work on what they're in speech for, and mostly it's articulation or language. So we all got, say, maybe 10 minutes for ourselves, and there's not much you can really get accomplished with stuttering because it's so much more complex in 10 minutes. But I do think it was very effective overall as far as my private therapy goes. Has your stuttering changed or caused you more problems recently? No, not really. I did have some issues when I was at work with talking on the phone because I have to make a lot of phone calls. But that was that's just the most issue that I've had recently with it. Are there times or situations when you stutter more or less? I stutter more when talking on the phone, and once I stutter more when I'm talking on the phone. I stutter less the first time I meet somebody because I don't know if subconsciously I'm still trying to hide it, but most of the time when I meet new people that I'm going to have to see for extended periods or more than once, I tend to not stutter, and then it seems odd, like once I begin to feel more comfortable with them, then I'll stutter more. Excuse me. And I stutter a lot more when I am tired, which I think is pretty common, if I could guess. Do you avoid certain speaking situations in which you expect to stutter? No, not anymore, because you just, it just comes to a point where you really can't do it anymore, because even in situations where I don't expect to stutter, I might still stutter, so I can't just avoid doing everything, because at some point I have to talk. Do you use tricks to get words out? I don't really have any secondary behaviors like I used to. I used to tap on things a lot, or like tap my leg or hit my leg. But I stopped doing that, and I really don't know exactly when it happened. But I don't really have that many secondaries anymore, except for probably like looking away when I'm talking. And I tend to look away more than I stutter, so I guess that could be considered one. What strategies do you use to maintain fluency? I was taught easy onset, and as well as slower rate of speech. So I still use those sometimes. I don't really do it too much, but I can if I want to, or if I feel like I have to. Have your academic vocational choices and or performance been affected because you stutter? Yes. Actually, when I was in high school, I went to an arts magnet high school, and I was accepted there for theater. And I really wanted to act when I was younger, so that's why I went there. And I did a few plays, but I was covert at the time and very self-conscious about my stutter. So I didn't do things as much as I could have or even would have liked to. I did a few plays, but I mostly just focused on writing, which I really did enjoy writing too. But I would have much rather been acting, and also I took acting classes outside of school for acting for the camera, and I did the classes, demo reel, headshot, and everything, but I never sent it to anyone because I was still afraid of like going to an audition and stuttering. So that's the only regret that I really have when it came to my speech, because I really wanted to pursue something, and I allowed myself to let stuttering keep me from it. What are your attitudes and feelings towards your stuttering? I try to maintain a very positive attitude about it. It's just it's just the way that I speak. And for the most part, it really doesn't bother me too much. So I'm glad about that. Okay. And are there any additional things that you think we ought to know about stuttering? And if you were to attend therapy for your stuttering, what types of things would you want to work on? I would just like to, this isn't really something people should know, but for people who stutter, I would like everybody to get to the point where they feel generally comfortable about things when it comes to their speech. Everybody has frustrating moments, but I would like for people, for the most part, to be okay with their speech and work on accepting it. And if I were to go back into therapy today, I would really like to work on desensitization, because while I am generally comfortable with my speech, I do still worry about certain things, like job interviews, for example, is a big one. And I'll tell myself that I'll go in there speaking like myself and not being self-conscious, but then I still end up being self-conscious, and I'll cover up my stutter. So that is one thing that I would really like to work on if I were to go back into therapy, but I'm not gonna go just for that purpose. I'll just work on it myself. But yeah, that's the one thing that I really would have liked, because even though my therapist was good back then, it was all fluency shaping, and so nobody really asked me like how I felt or tried to address like the emotional things. So that is all that I wanted to talk about, and I hope you guys have had a good stuttering awareness week. Bye.